So I just received a bunch of pieces to build my gaming PC. Some motherboard, processor, RAM, what else? Of course GPU, and some hardware. And of course the chassis, yeah. I'm a genius. I know all of this. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to try to assemble it here, right now, somehow. This is some space to do this. Yeah, I got everything. Hey, look at that. Right now. So first, we're going to grab is open the motherboard. B450, B450, or B450, Aorus Power Pro. So we are here. We're about to open it. Boom. By the way, I stream almost every day on Twitch, so follow me at .14. Thank you. Just take this second box out of the way. As you can see, whoa. Then we have the Wi-Fi antenna. Let's put this over here. Some manuals over there. Cables, I believe these are for, I don't know, let's check it. I will check it later. Some nice sticker. What else? Some pins, some screws, and the connector. Man, I have no idea what I'm doing. And let's open it. See, seal box, seal, whatever. Seal, yeah, I know how this thing's open. And then we're going to open it. Nice knife. Okay. Boom! Look at this. So nice, so clean. Wow. It's nice, right? Isn't it? Okay, so we have our motherboard here. Going to remove some plastic things. Yeah. Okay. So looks good. So let's grab our next piece. The Ryzen 3 generation, third region. The Razer third region. The Razer third generation. 7. Nice. So this is the. Whoa, what's that, man? It's the cooler. Cool. Cooler, cool. Let's leave all this in the box, except for, of course, the processor, the cooler, or the fan, or whatever. And let's put the box over here. Nice. Little cool Ryzen, AMD, right? This is the brain, okay? This is the body, like the neural system, and there's the brain. Now we have the RAM, some Corsair, some Corsair, Vengeance, RGB Pro, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 3000 megahertz DDR4 Pro. Two nice RAM memory, whatever. Nice. They're RGB, so the light, like Christmas. Easy. Man, let's put this over here. Maybe over here. Man, my desk is a mess. I know. Later we have, oh yes, the video card, the GeForce RTX 2060 Super. I mean, I wanted the 70, but my budget wasn't good enough. 8 gigabytes of memory. Some RGB, still RGB it. More Christmas lights for my setup. Jesus Christ. Let's open this thing. This will be my Christmas present for the cats. This scratching thing. And let's open this. It was kind of open already. Right. And boom. This is not the NVIDIA original. This is one that is like the MSI version. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, we have almost all our pieces together. Put it together. Finally, we have the memory of our computer in the most fanciest envoltorio. A simple SSD drive, PCI.M2 or whatever it's called. Let's put it back on the most incredible pack you have ever received in your life. Look at that. Incredible. Just incredible. Okay, so I remove everything. I don't need my time. We're going to set the CPU with the cooler. So I have here the CPU, as you can see. Haven't opened it yet. And we have this massive cooler, or at least it's massive for me. Okay. So we're going to put all these over here. We have two cables. I'm going to explain this right now. We have to put the cables. The USB, that is the one with 3 pins. That is the only one we were going to use. And this is the RGB cable. This is already deprecated because you can download the RGB controller app on your PC and control it everything. So you don't need 2 cables. It's good enough with just the USB one. So we're going to open our CPU box. Comes with the manual. Little nice sticker. And we're going to open this really carefully. And here it is. The CPU. Try to hold it with an angle with one of the edges, so you don't touch the pins. You don't want your finger oils or something to mess with this. Also, don't touch the front sides, the front part of it. Okay. Have it here. So how to install it? This guy, you can see it, but this guy has a little white triangle here that matches this little white triangle on this corner, and we're going to set it on that position. It should just fall into place. So you're going to, now you have this, now you're going to open this lever and set the processor and put the lever down. As easy as that. White triangle with white triangle, simple. And now we're going to put this massive thing that should go, this logo here should match this triangle also. We're going to put these brackets. So forgive me. If your motherboard don't have these brackets put it on already, you have to find them and set them on. Now you're going to put the brackets on. I'm going to stand up here. What the hell I'm doing? Okay, one bracket, second bracket, and now that the second bracket went down, you want to pull this lever down too. Yeah, perfect. Now it's all really smooth. Okay, so make sure to put the brackets with this logo facing the little square, the little triangle we talked before. You may be needed to apply a bit of pressure. So put the brackets, and once it's done, you should pull this lever way down. Again, it may apply some pressure to do it. Once it's on this position, everything is solid, is good to go. Now we're going to connect our fan to our motherboard. The motherboard should say CPU fan, just connect it, only have one way to go, so you can mess this up. I didn't. And now we're going to connect our USB cable. We don't need the other one, remember? You can download an app to control the RGB stuff on this fan. So just connect it, is the small one, and look for the USB port on your, I have two of them. They're usually on the opposite part of the opposite way where you connect the fan, and then just connect it. It has one pin floating, so found it and boom, it's connected. We will have to wrap these cables later. Okay, now we're going to connect our memory RAM. So let's just open this, take them out carefully, try not to touch the pins. Again, try not to touch them. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. So you have 4 slots. I don't know if you can see it. You have 4 slots. You want to connect it on the number 1 and the number 3, because if you have 2 memory RAMs of 8 gigabytes each, you want to use the multitasking stuff. So look for, you always have a shortest pin and a largest pin, so look the way it should go and connect them. Should open the brackets and connect them. I will connect the third first. Just double check that everything is alright, that they're not moving, and we're good to go. Okay, so next, going to connect the SSD. Let's take it out of the fancy box. Damn it. Here's my SSD. I need a screwdriver. I'm going to... Damn it, this is too big. Now I'm going to take my screwdriver, release this little bolt, and then I'm going to set up and connect my hard drive. I am a moron, man. If you have, this is a cooler, put it down, and then just take your screw and secure it. So now we're going to put in our motherboard with all the elements we already installed into our chassis. So we're going to be very careful to align every hole in the motherboard with the screws on the chassis. There it is. Now the board is aligned. Now it's time to screw up. Tighten the screws. Do not tighten all of them at the same one by one. Just put them
a little bit tight. When you finish them all, then you can tie them all. You can tighten them all. This way you ensure every screw has the same pressure applied. I don't know if you understand that, but simply just want to take a look. Everything seems right. Now I can put this way and finish the job.
So once we connect our motherboard, let's take a look at to all the cables that our chassis comes with. These are the frontal panel cables we're going to connect later. All of them are connected, and the power supply cables. In this case, I separate the ones that I'm not going to use because I have a PCI SSD. I'm not going to use any. Since I have a PCI SSD connected directly to the motherboard, I'm not going to use any of these cables. But if you have some SATA hard drives, these are the cables to use. They say SATA everywhere, okay? You can also find the old connectors, maybe some fans. I don't know what you can connect with this. They are really old. So I'm going to separate all this for never use it again. Now maybe I will buy a SATA hard drive SSD later, so I will use one of these cables. Now you have the motherboard, 24 pins connector, the 8 pins connector with one connector separated. This is for the GPU, and this is for the CPU. Okay, the one that has 2 of 4. This maybe kind of supposed to be able to separate this. Yes, these are for the CPU power, and this is for the GPU power, for the graphic card, for the CPU. Let's put them together again. I will go ahead and connect all these cables into the motherboard. I will make sure I use the proper holes in the chassis to connect each of these cables, so the cables are not mess around with everything on the. Don't tangle them together. So use the proper holes in the motherboard to connect the proper cables. Now let's connect our final piece, our graphic card. I got to remove these 2 elements so I can connect stuff to this side. So with a screwdriver over here. So let's just remove this one. Going to be this too. Now we can connect this. Boom. Click. Now I just have to use the 2 screws I just removed. So now we're going to take the PSI cables and connect them over here. So basically 4 here. Finally, smooth. There it is. Really smooth, cha-cha-cha. Okay. This is it. Now we can try to do a better work with our cables, not to have too many cables around, and we're done. We just have to plug it in and wait for it to explode.